Steer it with your one finger. That is how light the steering wheel is. Cars of the same segment are coming with 3-cylinder engines. That is in fact my favorite thing in this car. Air vents which channel air to the tires. Nothing much has changed in the engine. Welcome back to the channel everyone. This is Vikram and that is the all new Grand i10 Nios. This is its key. Similar to all other Hyundai keys, except the Verna, all these cars are getting the same key. So coming to the front aspect of the car, projector setup, LED indicator and headlamps turned out to be sharp this time, which is a very nice thing. Tri-arrow pattern to the DRLs and gloss or piano black finishing on the front grille, which is a very nice touch. That is in fact my favorite thing in this car. And we have proper air vents which channel air to the tires and they are not fake whatsoever. Coming to the tire size of the car, they happen to be 175/60 R15, 15-inch wheels, good touch again. And up front we have disc brakes and in the rear we have drums. Brake calipers regular colored. I don't think there's an N line in i10 Nios, they have to launch it. This particular car is automatic and it's the top of the line variant. So it's got this request sensor on the driver's side door. And let me get into the car and show you guys the rear seat of the car. It's got this white colored or rather light colored seats which tend to catch dirt a lot. And over here we have a proper water bottle holder in the rear door which can hold a 1-liter bottle, which is quite evident over there. And dual tone finishing in the interior. Space is adequate actually. It's got as much space as the venue and we have AC vents in the rear, which is again a very nice touch. 12-volt charging socket in the rear. This car is impressing me a lot, man. But one thing, it doesn't get a proper handrest in the rear. That is kind of missing. And if I had to access the boot, I had to, this is the boot of the car. And Grand i10 written over here, Nios, massive Nios badging over here. Rear parking camera which is placed very subtly. Asta written over here, which is the variant of this car. Rear wiper again. Shark fin antenna, which is a very nice touch. And these roof rails are definitely not functional. That's why it's written caution, do not apply load over here. So as I said earlier, it's got a request sensor on the driver's side door. So let me get into the car. As I said earlier, it's got dual tone finishing on the interior, on the dashboard and doors as well. And it's not half sort of design. A lot of effort has been put into making this car, I guess. Regular power window controls, ORVM controls and engine start stop button over here and traction control button, which is a very nice touch at this price point. And as you can see, we have piano black sort of finishing on the AC vents and door is not shut properly. As you can see over here, the previous gen Nios used to get single pod instrument cluster and this speedometer used to be in digital, but now they revised it and made it more symmetrical. In the middle we have a proper MID which has a lot of information like as you can see right now, it's got distance to empty, it's got mileage or the current fuel economy. And this infotainment system has got a lot of information and a lot of features as well, like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and reverse parking camera. And one more favorite thing of mine in this car is it's got physical buttons to the infotainment system for volume and the tune and everything. And even the AC controls are kind of rotary knobs, which is a very nice thing indeed. AC is making noise right now. It's very hot outside. And we have a proper wireless charging pad over here. At this price point, I don't know if it's, yeah, it is actually working. So we have, as I said, it's a 12 volt 120 watt charger. From this you can definitely charge your laptop. Type C output, USB type A output, and our gear selector is over here. It's a manual transmission, sorry, it's an automated manual transmission, or AMT is what we call it in regular. And glove box is not so big as such. It's a compact car, but space is okay. Practicality is fabulous. I'm currently sweating a lot because it's very hot outside, and that is pretty much about the interior and exterior of the all new Grand i10 Nios. Nothing much has changed in the engine, but let me drive it and tell you guys how different does it feel, because I drove the Grand i10 Nios a couple of years ago when that was launched, the previous gen version. But this one has a lot of improvements and a lot of refinement has been added. So guys, this is Vikram again and I'm currently in the driving seat of the all new Grand i10 Nios Automatic. This one has got a 4-cylinder engine which is very refined and smooth, because petrol cars these days, in fact cars of the same segment are coming with 3-cylinder engines, but this one is a 4-cylinder, and it's the same 1.2 liter Kappa engine which we've been seeing for over a decade in i10, which is a very good engine. But initially there used to be complaints that it's not efficient, the fuel economy is not so great as such, and all that stuff. But this particular car is completely tuned, and now it's producing somewhere around 80 to 85 bhp, and it's very torquey in spite of being an automatic and an AMT. It's very torquey in the initial end of the rev range, and the gearbox is very smooth. It's not jerky as such. Usually I had this perception, even everyone has this perception that AMTs are kind of jerky, but that is not at all the case over here, because this car is not so jerky as such, and it's efficient. Unlike the previous gen 1.2 liter Kappa engine, this is returning figures like which are in between 14 to 16, and even in worst of driving conditions it's returning at least 12 kmpl. Initially they used to produce or they used to return somewhere around 6, 7, 8 or 9 is the max which I saw in the automatic i10, the first generation one, like a decade ago, as I said earlier. But this one is very refined and very efficient as well. It's not very powerful, but you know, people who get this car definitely don't want power. This car is about city driving, and it's all about comfort in the city. In that case, it's a very nice car. Steering wheel is very light, suspension is soft. It's not as soft as the previous generation Grand i10, but this is soft. It gets the job done. In city, this is a very nice car, and as you can see, you can literally steer it with your one finger. That is how light the steering wheel is. And currently I'm not on a public road, so I just can't rip it open. I can't whack open the throttle, but when I get a proper stretch, I'll try that. For now, let's test its suspension. I'm getting into a very horrible patch of area, but you know, the ride is very plush. It's very soft. There are some noises from the suspension here and there, but that's totally acceptable. Apart from that, the suspension is very soft and it's very comfortable as such. It's a very comfortable car, and the steering wheel is very, very, very light, like all other Hyundais. Of course, Hyundais are known for their light steerings, light clutches. This doesn't have a clutch for sure, but steering wheel is very light, man. I can live with this car in the city. And currently the fuel economy which I'm getting is 12.8. That's because I'm just driving in first and second gears. Coming to that, we have a manual mode in the gearbox as well, which of course doesn't give complete control over the gearbox to you, but you can do a downshift and upshift whenever you feel like. But if you leave it as such, it does an upshift at 3.5 to 4,000 RPM on its own. Until then it will hold the gear, which kind of gives you more torque when you need that while overtaking and all that stuff. So let me throttle the car a bit. I got a patch of road, like I got some straight path, so left foot on the brake, already in manual, right foot on the throttle, full throttle, off the brakes. That's some amount of wheel spin, which is a very nice thing because it's an AMT. As I'm already in manual, it did not do an upshift, so the wheels kind of spin. But it's not a performance oriented car. If you're someone who does need a lot of performance, definitely go for the i20 N-Line, of course. This is a family car, and this is for the cities, so in that aspect it does satisfy you a lot. It's economic, it's efficient, that won't disappoint you while overtaking on highways or anything of that sort, and it's compact, man. It's very easy to drive it in the city, so it's a good car at the end of the day. Usually I had this bad opinion about this 1.2 liter Kappa engine, that it's not at all efficient, because my uncle had an automatic i10, the previous gen one, which used to return, like, as I said, right, 8 or 9. 9 is the highest economy I saw on that. That too when we drove it for like 150 kilometers at a stretch, it gave us 9. I don't know if it's an issue with that particular car or the engine, but when I got to know that this is a 1.2 liter Kappa engine, I had that in mind, but not at all. That is not at all the case. That is no longer the case, because it's showing 12.8. Even I'm driving in first and second gears the most of the time, and this is a lot more torqueier than that particular car which we had. So that is definitely a good thing, is what I would say. That satisfied me a lot today. And the steering wheel, it's very light. As I said, it's not a sporty car as such, so the steering wheel being light is totally acceptable. But once you get onto the highways, you would definitely expect it to weigh up a little bit, but that won't happen because it's a family car again. It's a Grand i10 Nios. So that is it for today's video, guys. That is my vlog on the Grand i10 Nios latest version or current generation. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video real soon. Until then, this is Vikram signing off. And one more thing, don't forget to follow me on Instagram.